everyone, and welcome to another episode of STEM in Seconds. Today I'm going to talk to you about simultaneous equations, what they are and how to solve them. Simultaneous equations are a set of two equations, such as x plus 3y equals 11 and 4x minus 5y equals 10. These are two different equations. I've named them 1 and 2. They have two different variables in each equation. Now, as you can see, the highest power of each of these variables in this example is 1. So we call these linear equations. Now, if you have two linear equations, there are two different methods you can use to solve them. Method 1 is called elimination. And I'm going to use it to solve this set of simultaneous equations. Equation 1 is x plus 3y equals 11. And I'm going to try and eliminate this x. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take equation 1 and multiply everything on it by 4, which gets me 4x plus 12y equals 44. I'm now going to christen this equation 3. I'm then going to take equation 2 and write it again under equation 3. So 4x minus 5y equals 10. And as you can see, these x's now have the same coefficient of 4. At this point, you either add or subtract the two equations, and the mnemonic is same sign subtract. So these two 4's are the same value numerically and they both are positive, which means I will need to subtract these two equations. That gives me 0x plus 17y, because minus minus equals plus, equals 34. 17y equals 34, which means that y then equals 2. This is now very simple to sub back into equation 1, x plus 3 times 2 equals 11, x plus 6 equals 11, so x equals 5. And that is how the elimination method works. The second way to solve this pair of linear simultaneous equations is called substitution. And this method not only works for linear simultaneous equations, but for nearly any pair of simultaneous equation you will have to solve. So I'm going to take equation 1 again, x plus 3y equals 11. I'm then going to make x the subject of that equation. So x is 11 minus 3y. I now have x in terms of y. The next step is to substitute this x into this equation 2. 4 lots of 11 minus 3y minus 5y equals 10. So as you can see, I've taken the x from this equation and replaced it with this expression for x formed from the other equation. Then I simply expand these brackets and solve for y. So 44 minus 12y minus 5y equals 10. 44 minus 17y equals 10. 34 minus 17y equals 0, and 17y equals 34. Again, y equals 2, and I take this y and substitute it back into equation 1. X equals 11 minus 3 times 2. X equals 11 minus 6, so x equals 5. As you can see, both methods get you to the same pair of solutions of x equals 5 and y equals 2. That's how we solve a pair of linear simultaneous equations. But quite often, your examiners will be a bit sneaky and they'll give you a set like this. Equation 1, x minus y equals 7. All looks good, nice linear equation. But your second equation is y squared plus xy plus 2x equals 5. The highest power of this equation is a squared, so this is a quadratic. It may not quite look like the nice form we're used to, but it's a quadratic equation with two variables. To solve this pair of equations, there is only one option, and that is to use substitution. And the rule for substitution is you will always substitute the linear equation into the quadratic. So I'm going to take my linear, x minus y equals 7, make x the subject, so x equals 7 plus y, and then substitute that into equation 2. So y squared plus y, here it's multiplied by an x, I'm going to change that to 7 plus y, plus 2x, and again x is 7 plus y, equals 5. Expanding these brackets, I get y squared plus 7y plus y squared plus 14 plus 2y equals 5. Combining all these terms, I get 2y squared plus 9y plus 9 equals 0. This is now a quadratic, and I'm going to use the quadratic equation here, which gets me two values of y, which is y equals minus 3 over 2 and y equals minus 3. Now these are two values of y, and each of these y values will pair with an x value, so I will end up with two pairs of solutions to these two equations. In this case, using the linear equation again, x minus 3 over 2 equals 7, which gets me x equals 11 over 2, and x minus 3 equals 7, so x equals 4. Remember, minus equals plus. That's all for this video. Please comment down below if you have any ideas for new videos, and don't forget to subscribe.